how do you balance that? Because we have, I think as an industry and particularly as a profession, we are trained to think about all the bad things that are going to happen to you 30 years from now if you don't save a bunch of your money. And then I go read what most of the wisdom traditions say about money, and they say, like, look at the lilies. Like, why they don't, they're not worried about it. Like, why are you worried about it? Like, non-attachment, all of these things. And so that is truly this seesaw, right? Where do you think this is a relatively, I mean, I've been curious about like the breakdown of tribal structures and nuclear families. And do you think this is a relatively recent phenomenon that we had to worry so much about? We are going to be destitute and living under a bridge if we don't save everything today.
Yeah, absolutely. If you think about it literally in terms of an evolutionary standpoint, we had to think about the future, but not that far off in the future. If average life expectancy is 27, that's a very different idea, right? And as you said, the concept of retirement, which is really more of a 20th century, or maybe late 19th century concept. These are not ideas that we've grappled with throughout the course of human history. And then you add on top of this, as we were saying before, massive increases in life expectancy. All of a sudden, it does change the calculus there. But you could also argue that then if part of the language is, save, it ends up, like you said, the seesaw then goes the other way in a dangerous way where I'm just saving and not spending, right? And so I know we'll get into this, but I think I'm fascinated by that push-pull there.
Yeah. Talk about the problem of shoulds. We need to create more balance between the current and the future, this overemphasis. And I'm particularly thinking of the FIRE movement and all these other like extreme examples of what often to me feels like working really hard to climb a ladder and then find out it's against the wrong wall a bit. Right. Like, what am I going to do now that what am I going to do now that I got there? Like, talk to me a little bit about what you've seen, because I know that shows up in the book.
Yeah. So FIRE movement is one of my favorite examples of going too austere, right? Too far in the other direction. So, you started by asking about shoulds, right? And so what I think is interesting there is the pervasive sense that I think many of us and many clients have that I should be doing more. I should be doing more saving. I should be, rebalancing in a different way, whatever that should is. I'm really interested in cases where people constantly feel like they should be doing something and they want to be doing that and they just can't, right? So it's almost a different set of problems when people say, I should be doing this, but I don't really want to. Well, that's a different type of problem. And, maybe you need to sort of adjust your ideals. But when somebody says, I should do this, I want to do this, and there's a gap there, that's when I think, overall behavioral science can really help there.
Well, you can't now. So how does it help? So this seems like the age-old knowing-doing gap, right? Like, this is an academic problem that's been around for a very long time. How do you close the, I know I need to do something, I want to do something, and yet I'm not doing it?
Here's my perspective from the behavioral scientist side of things. There are things that we can do to make the environment easier for people to make these decisions, and then there are the things that we can do to change motivation. And so the two terms I like there, I think everybody on this call has probably heard of nudges, right? But specifically, if we want to define them, nudges are changing the sort of decision-making environment to nudge people along to do the things that they should and want to do. Boosts, on the other hand, I think that's a term that's maybe less known. Boosts are interventions that change motivation to get us to do more of those things. And I think the two need to operate in parallel. And the basic example is, if I auto enroll you into a savings plan, and I know this is a well-trodden example, but if I auto enroll you, that's a nudge. And that's great, because I've probably massively increased the percentage of my employees who are saving. but they're probably not saving enough because I had to enroll them at some rate, the 3%, 4%, whatever it is. And that's when the boosts come in, the psychological changes, getting people to connect more to their future self and so on, that can help close the gap even more.
Greetings, Carl here. Now, what you just watched was a little teeny clip of my private conversation with Hal Hershfield. We talked about the importance and the power of connecting first ourselves and then the people we love, otherwise known as our clients, to their future selves. And the reason we talked about this, the reason this was such a powerful call for me at least, is it helped me see a way, by helping clients emotionally connect with their future, it helps us to make decisions today that help us align our use of capital, time, money, energy, and attention with what's important to us. So powerful. I left feeling so grateful for the work that real financial advisors do. So that was my conversation with Hal Hershfield. It's part of the Society of Advice membership program. And guess what? I think you would love it. And we've made it really easy for you to find out for yourself. Just take the free trial, right? Just click on the link, join the free trial of the membership program, and see for yourselves, my friends. Cheers.